There we go. Using a 1/4 inch foot for patchwork. If you're going to be doing much patchwork, I would invest in a 1/4 inch foot. It's one of the more cheaper priced feet, and it'll really make a difference to your work. This is mine. They you know, depending on your machine, they look different. It's 1/4 inch to there. It's 1/4 inch to there. There's a little mark there for a 1/4 inch to the back of your work as well. So I'll just pop this now on my machine, and then I'll show you some stitching. Right, so I'm going to join these two pieces of fabric together with a 1/4 inch seam. When you're doing patchwork, it's a fairly short stitch. Mine is 2.5 and it goes from 0 to 6 because you don't want the pieces to come apart. And when you start, you don't do like dressmaking, go back and forwards or put securing stitches in. You just start straight away. So because you're going to be stitching over that again, the 1/4 inch is there. So when I'm sewing, I'm looking at that. My eye is on the edge of that and that fabric. Do not look at your needle because you could go wobbly, and it's important to be straight. You need to practice watching this bit. So I'm ignoring the needle and I'm really keeping an eye on that. And I'm just feeding it through. I'm not pulling it, I'm not pushing it, I'm just letting it feed through. And if I need to adjust it, I can just move it. I mean, I can move it that way, I can move it out that way. You'll see those now when I finish that it's not straight. So I'm just ensuring that that stays straight. And there we have. Can you see the little wobble up there where I moved it? See, and here it is, a nice 1/4 inch seam. It started with a 1/4 inch seam. And when you're actually sewing them, you just sew to the end. In fact, I'll show you that now. So when I'm sewing along, when I'm coming to the end of the two pieces of patchwork, I just let it go over by one stitch. Just the one. And that sort of gives you a slight lock there. That means it's not going to all start coming undone straight away. Then I take my piece of work to the ironing board and give it a slight press as it is. That's called setting the seams. And in patchwork we press to one side. So I usually do that by just flipping that over. Because the navy and white is the darker one. So I've pressed it to the dark side. There are exceptions, there's exceptions to every rule, but that's generally how you do it. Bye.